there have been drastic changes in the history of this planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would assume that the argument from one side is, if those have happened in the past and man was nowhere to be seen at those points, why now are we claiming a change on man?
Let me take a stab at this. So the answer is, if you go back in the historical record and you say, okay, during dinosaurs, there was no ice anywhere on the planet. It was so warm that there were alligators living in the Arctic, there were ferns growing in high latitudes, palm trees in Wyoming. You say, well, why was it so warm then? It was warm because atmospheric carbon dioxide was really high then. We have ways, we have proxies we can look at to determine how much carbon dioxide there was in the atmosphere. So far from contradicting the idea that adding carbon dioxide will heat the planet, as humans are doing now, that actually supports the theory that if we add a lot of carbon dioxide, the planet's going to get a lot hotter, because we can look in the geologic record and we can see.
But then the argument would be, it was there before. It got that high before.
So that's a different question.
And man wasn't around.
Right.
So
you're asking why is the carbon. So there are two questions here. The first is, well, does adding carbon dioxide warm the planet? And we can go into that, and I think that there's a lot of historical evidence that when carbon dioxide's gone up, the planet's warm. So the second question you're asking is, how do we know that the increase in carbon dioxide that we can measure right now is caused by humans? There's a lot of evidence to support that. For example, we can measure how much carbon dioxide goes up every year, and we know how much carbon dioxide humans are dumping in. And those track each other very well. It seems very unlikely, if the source of carbon dioxide were not humans, why would it track human emissions so closely? Secondly, Dr. Buehler brought up isotopes. I'm not going to go into that, but you can look at the isotopic composition, the chemical signature of the carbon dioxide. And fossil fuels have a particular chemical signature in the isotopes. And so we can chemically identify the fingerprint of fossil fuels in the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So we have, if you were on a jury, I were the prosecutor, we would have an airtight case. We have evidence of the weapon, carbon dioxide. We know it can warm the climate, and we have the evidence that it's increasing. It's increasing due to human activity. And you put it all together, you know, the question is not, in my opinion, whether humans are warming the climate. It's quantifying exactly how much of the warming is due to humans and how much of the warming is due to other factors, which clearly humans are not the only thing that can warm the climate. There are other factors. And so we really want to do, and the real question is teasing out how much of it's due to humans and how much of it is not due to humans. And most scientists would argue that most of the recent warming is due to humans, that these other factors are small. But that's a legitimate scientific question that people debate. Even now, there are papers coming out on people trying to quantify what the non-human component to the warming is.